Dummy Switch Pod.
Yes, sir.
Series is over and we're back. We're back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
To give
Yeah,
those
man.
takes you cowards won't give. We're here to speak the truth.
Yeah, we're gonna give it to them, man. We're gonna give those takes and be honest about what we see.
How are you, Chris?
I'm happy. Kodes. How are you, man?
I'm happy. You know, this test series, we've seen the All Blacks fall, so I guess we take what we can get. We take what we can get. Back to the first team for the most part. Evans' 100th test, Bongi's 50th. Big occasion, and you know occasions are made to be spoiled. So it could have got tricky.
It could have. You know, after the morning's results, you know, I thought, no, it's a repeat of week 2 in the June series or this July series. But no, the boys, they did it. You know, they did it for Eben, they did it for Bongi, you know, and they did it for us. We mustn't forget they did it for us as well. Otherwise, it would be sad in South Africa.
Yeah, man. I mean, immediately you have that thing of playing off advantage. It looked more promising. That Mapimpi almost getting through for that try. I'm playing it through. It looked like we were there for business. Even Willems, that up and under where he was almost through. So it seemed like there was a bit of the intensity turned up in the beginning.
Yes. Yeah. I think that's really what it was. It was the intensity and the sort of how can I say, they were the aggressors. The Boks were the aggressors from the word go, with ball in hand, you know, because even those carries, if you look at the past 2 tests, you know, the carries weren't as strong, weren't getting as much momentum over the advantage line. And this game, you know, they managed to pull it together. And really, I think as well, it's also the patience, you know, and again, the learnings from week 2, from the so-called B side, or not really the B side, but from the changes that they made to this, there's definitely learnings that they took and they applied that, because if you look at that start, it was a similar start to what was in week 2, you know, barring the momentum, barring the patience, you know, which we saw in this game. And you have to give them credit, you know, the pack, you know, everybody was hot, everybody was you know, they were up for it, and you know, we can be happy, but there's still a lot to work on.
Yeah, there's a lot to work on in the sense that we got territory, which was the same that we had territory in all 3 games. You know, the issue is we're just not converting it to points. Here we didn't have the cutting edge. It seemed like this game we did. You got that try. You had Willems almost through. You had Dialendi short of the line. So it seemed like there was more cutting edge. But when it boils down to it, there was still no points on the board. So it's still more of the same in that sense of having territory and not putting points on the board.
Yeah.
They should have had a scrum penalty. Definitely. I felt like the ref swallowed his whistle there. But then forwards again, getting that momentum. Pollard, he goes in between 2 forwards.
2 forwards, number 2, number 6. Yeah. Good try. Good try, you know, and I think, you know, if we let's start back from that try, you know, I think with Pollard, and we saw that in week 2, where you mentioned it as well, like he was looking to run more, take on the line more, you know, but be more flatter on attack. Something which, we must be honest, something which we saw from him when he first started out at the Boks is one of the things that made him look as a complete flower, where he could attack, you know, he could play that attacking game and he could take it up and mix it up with the kicking game. But then you work it back to the work of the forwards, you know, in terms of physically dominating the Welsh forwards. But at the same time, you know, the Welsh, like we said last week, the Welsh play a similar game to us, you know, so they're always going to be that fight, physically make it difficult. You know, it wasn't going to be easy to get over and get the tries.
Yeah,
you know,
but the penalty count was ridiculous. Let's
it
be
was
honest.
Ridiculous.
The penalty again. This is why I say the ref was swallowing his whistle.
Yeah,
the penalty count was ridiculous. And then, you know, going into the second half as well, it's like They were on a warning, then they're off a warning, then they're on a warning. It's a bit, come on. Let's
look. That's all we want is consistency. We saw even in the other games. 1 week, a certain collision is a card. The next week, it's not. It's just consistency. It needs to be. We need to apply the law. They must just decide what is the law. But again, it's because of the interpretation of the game, which is why we love it so much, because we all have the different opinions from what we see, and that's what makes it good. But focusing on the Boks performance, I think for me, the big question mark is at 8. Is at 8. There's so many opportunities where there could have been link-up play, and even more so now, I'm more convinced that Jasper Visa, look,
Visa got hooked. He got hooked before halftime, like Emmanuel Eboué. That one it hurts. That one hurts.
Yeah, because there's so many opportunities where he could have let the ball go, and I think it's more that game development and in a way but then again, it's also what's the role?
Horses for courses, exactly. It's horses for courses where they needed someone to get their hands on the ball, and I mean it was a good substitution. We saw what Impa Kwaka did have, so I mean you have to say good coaching decision.
How much has Kwaka Smith grown though from those mistakes in the Super Rugby finals? And even when he made his Bok debut to not being so impressive, and then
that's also why they don't want to throw away Jasper Visa, because the same thing can happen with him. So and I mean Kwaka is also playing second division rugby in Japan. That's what makes it even more impressive for me.
Exactly, brings even a bigger question mark, because now you've got Visa who won the premiership. And it was better of a match. And now you're thinking that, okay, it's, of course, Test rugby is difficult to replicate, but the thing is that those opportunities were there, where we could have knocked down the door a bit earlier, had the correct decision making. Okay, maybe you don't want to risk it, you want to play low risk rugby. We understand that, but definitely there's room to grow. There's room for the game to evolve. The game to evolve and the players' decision making to evolve within those situations. Definitely. And that's where you see guys like Hendrikse and Willemse, you can see that element of surprise and difference at test level, where now they're starting to look comfortable, and you have to give them their flowers.
Especially Hendrikse. Hendrikse has been of this test series, you can say he's been the find of this series, where he's settled into that team. There were question marks before, but he's now looking the part. My issue is we're not dynamic enough, especially in the backline. There's no cutting edge. I mean, the only time when we saw it was when they got Sia out wide into some space. That's the only time where we really saw some danger. So my thing is, especially having watched the All Blacks versus Ireland, and you see the way that Ireland are moving the ball like Leinster, and you see the way that they're stretching them, the way that they've got runners. There's always runners, there's always dummy runners, there's wide passes, there's clever thinking.
Yeah.
There's none of that from us.
Yeah, we're not manipulating defenses enough. We're really not. But one interesting thing that I picked up is I know we've got, in terms of the ball players or sort of the playmakers, traditionally we'll look at your 10, 12, 15 as your playmakers. But interesting thought popped up to me, when he put that kick through for Mapimpi, it almost worked out, right? But I just couldn't help but think that he needs to get his hands on the ball more, because there's a different dynamic, a different threat that he offers. And we saw it even last year with the British and Irish Lions, a lot of the times with the tries that we scored. And even in the World Cup, he touches the ball, and whenever he touches the ball, there's something does happen, And
so, my other issue is the reshuffle of the backline, where they put on the wing. Was that, okay, Kobe goes out. Could we not just have put Willie Leroux on the wing?
Yes.
Could we not have even put Willie Leroux at fullback and then put Willemse on the wing?
On the wing as well.
Instead, what you're doing now is one man's out, and you're reshuffling the whole back line. Willemse goes to 12, Jalendi to 13. I'm on the wing. To me, it's stifling. It's stifling the play. It's stifling the creativity. Jalendi at 13. You know what? It's just not there.
Yeah. He's better at 12. You know, he does more.
And I'm not particularly saying him. I'm just saying that whole reshuffle, it doesn't look dangerous. It doesn't look. Yeah. It looks out.
There's no chemistry. It doesn't look like there's like that attacking chemistry, that attacking threat where you say, okay, you're not. Even with this reshuffle of the back line, you know, these guys, if that ball goes out, they're going to punish. You know, you don't see that. You don't see that. But in saying that, I honestly, I love how Damian Willemse, and look, you know what, if they watch back to when we started, you know, and we predicted that Willemse was, you know, probably better suited at 12, you know, or better suited at 12, or can be useful at 12 at test level, and now with him finding his feet and being, so he looks, I won't say comfortable in the sense of complacent, but he looks comfortable and assured of himself at test level. I think he looks really good, and his shifts there at 12 from defensively, and even the different dynamic that he brings on attack, I think it's good for him, good for us. It would have been nice to see, you know, him under different circumstances, you know, in that position, or rather him staying at fullback and allowing him to continue to play, because I mean he was hot at fullback before the changes was forced, you know.
Yeah, these are just things we need to iron them out, man. We need to iron them out. The forwards are always going to be the forwards.
Yeah,
you know, the Mole tries, they take control of the game. Malcolm Marx came on. I think he also had a good showing. So we must sharpen up. We must sharpen up in the backline.
In the backline. Well, Junod, and I think Junod as well, within the pack, I think there's room to say there's at least an extra 10% there from a power perspective. You know, that's the scary thing and the pleasing thing for me is that.
Yeah, and the challenge has been laid down. Isana Siwa has lied on a public platform.
Yeah, well, apparently our pack is not as good as we think, you know. So look, we will find that out in the coming weeks. You know, we'll find that out in the coming weeks when we play the All Blacks, and we'll also find out the true test will come when we do go on the Northern Hemisphere tour and play against the French. But I think it's really a ill-advised comment to make after considering the troubles that they have.
Any pack, forward pack, any pack, we beat them.
You know, 6-pack, 12-pack, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. We beat them.
Yeah, and you have to. One thing we commented in the past 2 games was the line-out accuracy. You know, I was happy with the fact that they fixed up. You know, in terms of the line-outs, you know, I felt they were a bit more accurate, more in control, you know, from a line-out perspective. You know, like you said, our pack will always be, you know, our pack is always our pack. You know, it's just, like you say, backline perspective, we need to be more sharper. Defensively, I honestly believe that we are particularly vulnerable with our defensive set. Just because, I mean, even if you look back at the first test, second test, we're getting beaten out wide a bit too easily. Okay, fine. The scramble is a bit better this past weekend, you know, in terms of catching the guys. But you know, if you're 1%, 2% off, you know, we get punished, and like we were in the previous 2 tests. But
hey, Mapimpi was having a tough test series. I won't lie. They were capitalizing out wide on him.
Yeah, they really were. I think he really didn't shoot out the lights. You know, it wasn't wasn't that kind of serious for him, but we won't hang him out to dry. There's still the rugby championship coming up where, he's got to step it up. Otherwise, we wouldn't be averse to seeing different combinations coming in that on the wing, in guys like Quickly Orange getting a chance as well. So all in all, I still repeat what I said last week. It's not all doom. It's not all bad. There's positives. A lot to work on, definitely. But look, this team, and I honestly believe I'll say it again. This is the opportunity now to really knuckle down, take the rugby championship outside of a World Cup cycle. Fix the Australian mistakes from last rugby championship last year, and really, honestly put the All Blacks away in our backyard. I think it's about time that we also make that statement that we difficult to beat at home. As much as we know it's going to be tight, it's going to be classic as always, but we need to win.
Yeah, I think it's going to be closer than people are predicting. I almost feel like we're almost in the same space as the All Blacks. I think we're not too far apart in terms of, for them, there's no confidence in the coach. There's a whole lot of things happening. We're not in the same hole as them. But what I'm saying is, I feel like we're a lot similar in the fact that we both need to sharpen up and we both need to sort out things. The way we're getting caught out wide, they're also getting caught out wide, and defenses are running straight through them. So I don't feel like we're too dissimilar. We are maybe we have a bit more security, but I feel like we are going through a bit of the same rustiness, a bit of the same. I mean, it's different for them because Super Rugby has been a bit of a shambles, but all in all, I think we're always going to be cousins. We're always going to be cousins of the All Blacks. I think even the problems are a bit closer than people think.
Than they think. I mean, you're absolutely right. And even look from a pack perspective, I still believe we have by far we have the better pack. I think it's only at 8 where you look at Adi Savia. We don't. If we're being honest, we don't necessarily have a counter for that type of player, within our stocks or that's in the squad currently. Maybe closest one to that is Kwacha, in that sense, but his game-breaking ability, I mean, you saw that on the weekend,
he got that dog in him. He got that dog in him.
He was playing like he's the captain, so, that's just the one threat that we need to look out for. I think, we just, like you say, we just need to sharpen up from a defensive point of view. For me, that's my main concern, is defensively. I believe defensively, if we can just fix those, just fix our alignment, on the press and just reading the pass and the spaces, we should be okay. And then again, we go back to the attack, because like we always know, you can't beat these guys just by penalties. You need to score tries, and we need to be able to score tries in different ways through our pack and through our backs. So yeah, we need to. I'm still calling for that evolution of the Bok game, of which I believe, Jaden Hendrickson can bring that with ascendancy. But now the real test is going to come, because my concern, from EuroC was the speed, his speed to the breakdown, the speed of the ball, and just his consistency in decision making, which I must admit was better in this test series, was much better. So the test from here on is, can he build on that as well and really become a real game breaker at 9, because his box kicking was definitely way better. I think if you're looking at the 3 tests, and especially if you compare the second test and this third test, I believe honestly the difference was the contestables in terms of getting us to apply pressure. It was definitely the contestables, whether that was the box kicks or the kicks from 10. They were better, which goes to show that this game plan does work, but it's all based on execution. At the same time, they need to evolve, because we can't be doing Gary Owens all the time. You know, we must, But I found it funny because you saw even the All Blacks were trying Gary Owens in the 22 or first phase, which was surprising. You know, so it means we're in a good space, even though we close, but we're in a better space, like you say, more security. But you know, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. To keep our feet on the ground, and we have to build from this. We really have to. Yeah. I believe there's no other way. You know, there's no other way. Honestly,
that's why it's going to be so interesting, because it's vital times for both teams. It's vital times for both teams. So we'll see how it goes. I think my biggest issue at the moment is that the test series, it's been too close. It's been too close when we're outplaying these teams. It's been too close. You look at the scoreboard for all the domination we're getting, we're not getting points. And that's where we need to sort things out. That's my biggest concern. But like you said, we're also going to see a wider group being used. Colby injured, so we are going to see some changes. So it's setting up nicely. There's going to be a lot to talk about over the weeks.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I think every rugby fan is just counting down to that 6th of August first test against the All Blacks, you know, and in Nelspruit, and then the following week in Ellis Park. Hey man, it's there. It's prime opportunity. These guys can really do something special, you know, and psychologically as well, you know. I think more than anything, and that reinforcement that they are doing the right thing, because they have their own bigger picture, and they just need to. We just want results, you know. That's what we want. We want results. Yes, the win, but we also want to see that the ruthlessness. I think that's really because I mean, we should have at least put 40 points at the least on Wales this past weekend. You know, we didn't. Second test, we should not have lost that test. You know, and even the first, it was too close, like you say. But let's hope we'll see a difference.
Any closing remarks, Chris?
Oh, bring on the All Blacks. You know, we want to see something. We want to see something.
We just want to see something. Come close.
Yeah.
But anyway, Dummy Switch Pod. Thanks for watching.
Yes, sir.